Hello and welcome to this very quick video. This is a quick video for this gentleman here, gentleman called Donald, and Donald was asking a fab question, one that I actually haven't made a video for. I've actually covered this answer in lots and lots of different places. I've now been making videos to answer radio control questions and help other radio control enthusiasts since, believe it or not, November 2007, and with over 1,600 videos on the channel, there's an answer to usually everything. However, I've talked about this hidden away in other videos. So if you're interested in radio control and how it works, check out my RC Basics series. I'll put a link down below that covers all of this kind of stuff in very simplistic terms. I'm going to put this video in that playlist as well. And there's also my motor and prop series. Again, I'm going to link that down below, because how the motor, prop and ESC all go together is a little bit of a balancing act. Now, sometimes it's quite easy and straightforward. Sometimes there is a little bit more thinking to be done. But the specific question I'm going to answer today in this quick little video from Donald is, if you have a motor that needs something like 30 amps, can you run it with an ESC that has a higher rating? Now, I can absolutely understand why this is confusing, because surely if you have a motor that needs 30 amp, then it needs a 30 amp ESC. Otherwise, if you use a 40, 50 or 60 amp ESC, then it's going to be providing too much amperage and too much power for the motor. But actually, it doesn't work that way. The way it works is the motor will pull whatever current it needs to maintain the speed. The bigger and more aggressive the prop, the more motor will need to pull current. And for most motors, you can figure out how much current that is. So let's say, for example, that this motor and prop combo is going to run 30 amps. And again, we find that out by looking at the manufacturer's datasheet or using something like the eCalc website. Again, check out the links down below for more detail. So the way this works is that when this is all connected, once the motor's running, if this wants to pull 30 amps, that's how much current it needs. It's only going to pull 30 amps from the ESC. It isn't that the ESC forces 40 amps into the motor just pulls the current that it needs. In reality, that means that there is more headroom in the ESC, and that's not a bad idea. In fact, I'd recommend you do it that way every single time. Always have at least 20% more current rating in your ESC than the maximum current that your motor is going to run. So if this is going to run 32 amps, then something like a 40 amp speed controller would be fine. If this is going to be more like 38 amps, then I would probably go up to a 50 amp speed controller. Now, why is that handy? Well, in the old days, some of the amp ratings on speed controllers were a little bit optimistic. So if you ran the speed controller at that rated capacity for a period of time, it would overheat and eventually the magic smoke would come out and it would basically catch on fire. So it was always a rule of thumb to make sure that the ESC wasn't running at 100% just for that reason. The other thing as well is that the larger ESCs tend to have better cooling. They have larger heat sinks built in and they can dissipate the heat better, because sometimes these ESCs are out in places where they have lots of airflow and they're kept nice and cool. Sometimes they're hidden away inside foam models where they're getting very little cooling. So if you are running the ESC at a relatively low value, so this is a 40 amp ESC, but this in flight might only pull 6 or 7 amps on a modern plane, then you know what, this isn't going to be getting very hot at all, and you can have a nice long flight and everything is all tickety-boo when you come down to land. And the last reason is, if this was a 35 amp motor and it got into trouble, maybe there's a problem with a bearing and it needed to pull more current, then you have that little bit of headroom here again in the ESC. So hopefully that explains it. Donald, I would always recommend, whatever the maximum current is that the motor is going to be pulling, make sure there's at least 20% more current available in your ESC and you shouldn't fall foul. Last part of your question was around, does it matter if you get cheap ones? Getting cheap components of any type means that you're playing a little bit of Russian roulette, because the quality assurance usually suffers. So you may get a fantastic one, or you may get a complete dud that causes a problem. Buying cheap components means that you need to do an awful lot more testing on the bench before you rely on it in flight. A good example is things like cheap little 9-gram servos. If you buy a bag of them from something like Banggood, there's a good chance that 2 or 3 in that bag are going to be dead on arrival or give up the ghost very quickly. However, if you buy them from someone like Emacs, from a reputable reseller like 3DXR, then they're going to work straight out the box. And if you did have a dud, you'd be able to get it replaced as well. So you pays your money, you takes your choice. I like the T-Motor brand, and I also like the Sunny Sky stuff as well, but I will occasionally use other things that come supplied in different wings too. Thank you for spending your time today watching that video. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you're trying to learn about a subject, then check out the playlist. All of my videos are organized into easy to follow playlists that, if you're trying to learn a topic, will take you from the basics right the way through to some pretty advanced stuff.